Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and iOS 18 is some months away, but we'll talk about everything we know so far. Also, there's been some concerns around NameDrop and much more. This is your weekly Apple News update for the week of November 26th, 2023. Now, Apple added the new NameDrop feature with iOS 17, and now some iPhone users are being warned to disable it in Crenshaw County by the Sheriff's Office. If we go to the posting here, you'll see my friend Mr. McIntosh posted this, and it says it allows any individual with this feature to place their phone next to your iPhone or your child's iPhone and automatically receive their contact information. This is not accurate at all. They said it's crucial to understand that the information passed to another phone through NameDrop could potentially include a picture, phone number, email address, and more, and they urge everyone to disable it. And of course, you can disable it. Go into your settings, and under your AirDrop settings, you can turn off bringing devices together. But what they're stating is not accurate at all. If I bring my iPhone close to another iPhone on a different account, you'll see we'll bring it together. Then it starts to NameDrop, and it actually says I can share my information with them, receive only, or share. And then they have to choose to receive that information as well. It doesn't just automatically share that information. You can tap receive only, but I have to actually confirm that on my device. It's not something that just automatically shares. So what they're actually saying is not accurate information. So you can turn this off if you want, but it doesn't actually send any information unless you confirm it on your side. So yes, someone can bring their phone close to yours, but they have to actually confirm that information before it's actually sent to the other iPhone. This was a safety measure put in place by Apple, and they're big on privacy, so it makes sense that they put this there to begin with. So if you're worried about that, don't be. The information's not accurate, unfortunately, and that's just something you don't have to worry about. Now, if they were up to your phone and tapped your phone to actually receive your information, well then yes, it would send that over. Otherwise, it won't do that at all. Now, many people have wanted iMessage on Android for years, and Nothing was about to bring that to different users on their Nothing Phone 2 in an announcement last week. But that's since changed as there's been a major security flaws found in the actual software they were using. Basically, they were going to offer a reskinned version of an app called Sunbird that sends different text messages through their servers and then back to different users on Android. Unfortunately, you have to sign in with your iCloud account, which basically logs into a Mac Mini or a Mac server, and that forwards your information. It sounds great, but it's very insecure apparently, and after major security flaws were found, Sunbird has been shut down, at least temporarily, and the app's been removed by Nothing. You'll see that on a post on X where it says we've removed the Nothing Chats beta from the Play Store and will be delaying the launch until further notice to work with Sunbird to fix several bugs. We apologize for the delay and will do right by our customers. So that's something they've actually shut down, and maybe it'll come back eventually, but at this point, I'm not so confident that they'll actually ever bring it back with Sunbird or anything else. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, other big news, if you hadn't heard this past week, Dbrand is suing Casetify for taking their copyrighted designs and using them on their cases. This was announced by Zach on Jerry Rig Everything, where he shows what they've actually done, and it seems that this is going to be an ongoing thing for a little while, where they'll actually have to go to court and deal with it there. But either way, they've taken down those cases in the meantime on Casetify, and Dbrand is now still selling their different X-ray skins and more. So that's something that is going on now. If you hadn't been following it, it's on X and many other places as well. Now, many viewers of this channel use iMessage, but those of you outside the United States use WhatsApp and have asked me to continue providing the updates that they talk about. WhatsApp has finally gained email address verification as a way to authenticate accounts. This is not a replacement, but in addition to what is already there with different SMS messaging updates and more, where you can verify that way. This was on WA Beta Info and is part of the version 23.24.70 update. So make sure you're updated in the App Store if you haven't already and you want to use that for authentication. Now, if you need to keep your devices charged on the go, and before we talk about deals, today's sponsor has you covered, Anker. This is the Anker Nano 20-watt charger that I use all the time, along with their USB-C cables that can handle up to 240 watts if you need some portable power, or you just need a nice cable that lasts and is durable, at least in my use. The Anker Nano power bank I also carry along with me when I'm traveling, which offers 30 watts of charging power, but also 10,000 milliamp hours, and gives you a nice little readout when it's charging. So if you plug it in, you've got a nice little display here that lights up and shows you how much time you have left and what your percentage is. Additionally, if you need something even more compact, There's this two-way charger as well that's 5,000 milliamp hours and can charge at 22.5 watts. So plug it in there. You can plug in the side here with USB-C, and the same is true for the other power bank where you have USB-C and USB-A. If you need to charge the power bank, you can just plug in the USB-C, plug it into this little charger here, 20-watt charger, and charge it up. They all feature Anker's Active Shield 2.0 with dynamic temperature sensors as well, and you can check out Anker's whole Nano lineup for 2023 with a link in the description below. There's also deals on them as well, so be sure to check those out if you haven't already. Now, Apple's actually started selling AirPods Pro 2 with Lightning refurbished. However, it's only about 15% off, which isn't great compared to the Black Friday or Cyber Monday deals. This week, the best deal I could find on the AirPods Pro 2 were $189.99 at Best Buy. I'll link that in the description. Also, $250 off the MacBook Air M2, so that's a great deal, as well as Apple Watch Series 9, Apple Watch Ultra. Apple Watch Series 9, this is an Ultra 2. The Series 9 starts at $329 on Amazon, sold directly by Apple, and there's also deals on iPads and more. I'll link those in the description if you want to check them out. There's been some great deals today, so if you don't see it already, be sure to check it out if you're looking for any of those things. Now, as far as the next update we're expecting, iOS 17.1.2 is in the works. MacRumors confirmed that they're seeing this in their analytics on their website, and we expect it this week. They've actually posted the same thing. Based on what we had last year, they released it on November 30th with iOS 16.1.2. So I would expect a similar release date to iOS 17.1.2, but we don't know that 100%, but probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Last year, the 30th was the Wednesday. Then on the 1st, we actually had iOS 17 or 16.2 beta 4. I would expect iOS 17.2 beta 4 on Thursday as well. Something around that time frame, but not usually by Friday. So I would expect between Tuesday and Thursday, we'll have a couple different releases. We're also waiting for the upcoming Final Cut Pro update Apple has already announced, and it will improve performance further on M1, M2, and M3 Macs, specifically if you actually have the upgraded cores with the Ultra and Max. It should be much faster exporting and rendering video. Also, there's been sort of a lack of new updates with iOS 17. Yes, we've had some things such as the Journal app, which we were waiting for. Apple announced back in June, but maybe they're not pushing as many updates as we're expecting iOS 18 to be a much larger update. The first thing we expect is them to work on Siri quite a bit. Apple has actually said they're investing a lot into AI, and we can expect something similar with Siri to help guide us with AI. According to multiple sources such as The Information and Mark Gurman, they're working on generative AI features and incorporating a larger language model into that, so Siri could get much better, hopefully finally, in June when they announce the first beta, and with a final release next year in September. Also, we've already heard from Apple that they're going to incorporate RCS messaging into iMessage, so maybe we'll have something different with that, or maybe we'll just get that with iOS 17, but my guess is they're going to wait until iOS 18 to actually implement that. We don't know that for sure, but it will bring things such as read receipts, higher quality photos and videos, better group chats, and much more. So that will be better for everyone just because it's updated to the latest standard. Also, Mark Gurman is said to expect major new features. What he means is relatively groundbreaking updates, so that's what he said as well, where there'd be something maybe redesigned. We've seen some of this in settings with maybe the action button. I've talked about this before. This user interface does not match anything else in iOS 17. And iOS 17, while functional, is not very inspiring and doesn't sort of bring that sense of design and calm that we had with iOS 6 or iOS 5 or 4 or any of those before, where we had some skeuomorphism or just maybe more attention to detail as far as the overall design. It just seemed to have a little bit more life. So I know a lot of people like flat design, but I think some of that will go away, and hopefully they'll add some depth as well. I would love to see a redesign of things such as music, maybe finally bring split screen, and some of the apps are great, such as weather. It seems to do the job great, but it has some depth. I would like to see a little bit more of that, maybe neomorphism or something along those lines. But either way, I would love to see a redesign, at least to the icons, and more consistency across the OS. Also keep in mind, iOS 17's design is about 10 years old and feels pretty stagnant at this point, so hopefully we get some sort of update. And also, after asking many of you if you think Apple will bring a redesign to iOS 18, this is what you had to say on X. 7,628 people voted, and you'll see 35% said yes, you think there will be a redesign. 33% 28% said there'll just be some visual updates, and 32% believe Apple won't update anything. So it's going to be hopefully updated. We won't know until, of course, they release it, but that's what it's looking like based on what people are saying. And also to go along with that, Mark Gurman said next year's iPhone, the iPhone 16, is not expected to be that big of an update. However, Apple's already at work on it and getting supply lines sort of lined up and production ready for next year, so that's why we're already hearing more about that. iPhone 16 Pro is again rumored to gain that 5x tetraprism optical zoom lens, according to Ming Chi Kuo. Apple left it off on the 15 Pro and instead added it to the 15 Pro Max, probably for room and different constraints there, but they'll probably bring it to the iPhone 16 on both models, so that's what we're expecting. Also, many people have been asking for a return of Touch ID, whether that's with an iPhone SE or something else, but it doesn't look like that's what we're going to get. Instead, Apple's going to copy the iPhone 14 design and bring an iPhone SE 4. So we should have something similar to what we have with the iPhone 14, but with one camera for the next iPhone SE, but it looks like Touch ID is no more. So I would love to see that, but based on a recent information on Weibo from someone with a solid track record, it seems like Touch ID's days are numbered. Now, Apple is also working on software privacy, but also physical privacy that would limit who could see your iPhone display. New patents suggest Apple is working on a display technology with adjustable viewing angles, much like a privacy screen where you can only see it from direct on. Maybe you could adjust that so you could see it at some angles and not others. So that would be a nice little welcomed update we haven't seen before, where we'd have sort of a privacy viewfinder that we could look through and then change it based on our location. Where people could maybe see you input your password, it would be harder for them to see. We could have this on Macs as well. Also, I've recently had more and more ask me about iPad since we didn't have a release this year. We're expecting an update to all of the different iPad lineups sometime throughout the next year. So in the early part of the year, we could see new iPads Pro along with the iPad Air, an updated iPad Mini and more. So maybe we'll see that with a different iPad Mini that we don't expect to look too different, but basically have some updated internals, maybe have a different display with OLED finally, and much more. But we shouldn't see any new iPads until next year, according to what the recent leaks and rumors say. So it seems like this is going to be the first year Apple's skipped any sort of updates since the initial launch of the iPad many years ago. This year, we could get some updates in December, but it's not looking good. Apple rarely does that. Once in a while they do, but I would not expect iPads this time around. Also, AirPods Max 2 are set to launch in late 2024, according to Mark Gurman. We do know what we expect already with USB-C. That makes sense. They'll replace that, replace this odd case that they had. Hopefully they'll get rid of that. And also have some new colors, updates to Bluetooth 5.3, and probably an updated chipset to maybe H2 or something else. So we should expect that late next year. It's odd that we've had them for so long without any sort of update, where we've had AirPods Pro 2 bring most of those features, but the more expensive AirPods Max lack a lot of those. So I would love to see that updated as soon as possible. And as far as anything else, well, we're waiting for Apple Vision Pro early next year, and that's just about it. Not a whole lot to talk about this week, but let me know what you're looking most forward to. Are you looking forward to iOS 17.2, 17.1.2, or something else? Let me know in the comments below. I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.